Nope. You son of a bitch, you did.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to another build guide. So for a long time I always wanted to try this Transcendance keystone that you get from a Militant Fate Timeless Jewel with High Templar Max Sirus. So I always wanted to make a build with this, so you know that the defensive mechanics are kind of busted right now. It is so easy to scale armor, evasion, those kind of stuff after the masteries and all of that. So this was the perfect time to try this build. So this is almost an immortal build. You unfortunately still die to degeneration effects because this jewel doesn't protect you from that. The character is also a Juggernaut, so we have lots of endurance charges and physical mitigation. So you are gonna be tanky against all kind of elemental hits and also physical damage in the end. That is how you can tank. So let's just explore the keystone further. Armor applies to fire, cold and lightning damage taken from hits, so that is important, instead of physical damage. And minus all elemental resistances. To counter this minus resistances, we are using Lore Weave with maximum roll 78%, that is what you should get. So this way you actually lock your resistances to 78%, so you actually negate the jewel, so we are fine. Alright, so you should use a Lore Weave with some good rolls. So the higher the armor you stack, the tankier your character is gonna be. My characters right now have more than 300k. With some other adjustment it goes up to 400k armor. Something above 250k is, I believe, enough to tank any one-shot abilities. But try to go for maybe 300k armor, or even go for more armor. This character actually has at least 10 or maybe even 15 million DPS with even this much armor. So the DPS is also respectable. That's why this is a viable character in the end for boss killing, boosting other people. So you can even become a boss carry service provider, whatever, maybe on TFT Discord or something. So this is a perfect boss carry. Unfortunately the mapping is just shit because Shield Crush is not designed for mapping, in my opinion. That is not a good mapper. Even though if you use Asenat Blows with the explosion, it still is not that crazy, let's say. So the mapping is kind of slow. So you may want to play this build to tank bosses and do maybe boss carries and make some, have fun some. That's pretty much it about the purpose of the build. So how to achieve good armor, the things that you need to be careful while building this character. Let's talk about those. So this character uses both Determination and Grace aura at the same time. There are also lots of DPS auras. We got some reservation notables obviously on the talent tree. And also I'm using Devouring Diadem Helmet, something that you don't see on attack builds that much, because this actually provides lots of reservation efficiency. So the most of the auras are gonna be in this. I also have a level 3 enlighten, which is 2 exalt right now, which goes up to 4 level actually in this helmet. So this way, yeah, we can actually reserve lots of auras. We also don't need to worry about mana, because this gives you Eldritch Battery, which lets you spend Inner Shield instead of mana. Because you recharge the Inner Shield all the time, it is uninterruptible actually, because we don't get hit from our ES, you know, Inner Shield. And that's why this character has endless resource to spend for skills. So your mana cost, Inner Shield cost, actually, to be more precise, is not something that you should, you know, consider concerned about. Yeah, that is the correct word. Other than that, we obviously use Iron Reflexes to convert that evasion we got from grades to more armor, obviously. So this character doesn't have evasion in the end, they are all gonna be armor. Because we stack lots of armor, our weapon is Replica Dream Feather, which is not even expensive. You can even get something with Corruption. That is something that I did in the end, that has melee hits, Fortify, 10% chance or something. So that is a good corruption. You can also put Fortify on this character. But you don't need that much. This character is already tank enough, so if the corruption is expensive, maybe skip that. But that way you can actually even get Fortify. Even though we are attacking with our shield, that weapon's implicit corruption actually works. That is actually stupid if you ask me. This weapon provides attack damage per 450 armor. That way you can actually get good DPS for only like 1 chaos. So something that you need to be very careful, because we tank lots of one-shot abilities that just kills most of the other builds. Even though we take a reduced damage, obviously, we still get hit. We still get big ignites, alright? So if you just tank double Uber Atziri Flame Blast, that map also has 60%, I believe, monster damage in it. Normally that is a guaranteed one-shot for 99% of the builds out there. Even a 90 resistances aura stacker, I believe, cannot tank that. Maybe they need also spell suppression, which is impossible on those builds. So anyways, so you will still get hit by that ignite. Because ignite is a degeneration effect, you still get hit a lot. So even a flask or enduring cry won't even save you. You are just gonna die in a second. So you must make sure that this character is immune to ignites. So there are a couple of ways to do that. Cheapest one, Calm's Way ring. You can use these rings or also rare rings. Rare rings also has +1 endurance charge implicit on the synthetize as a synthetize mode. They are actually super cheap because no one plays Juggernaut or these kind of endurance charge stack builds. So the rare rings are actually like 3 exalt the base. You just use some essences to craft those. And you can also get Calm's Way rings. They are normally like 1 alchemy with the corruption, cannot be ignited. They are like maybe 10 chaos, I'm not sure. No one buys these. So hurry up if you want to be ignite immune for cheaper, because these rings are super efficient. They also provide lots of energy, not energy, life per second, regeneration, let's say. And also, I don't know, area of effect, maximum endurance charge. So very good for this build. But if you want maybe more DPS, other than that regeneration, or if you don't need any more corruptions, let's say, use a rare ring, again, the same stuff, synthesize. Use Scorn Essence, that is what I did, to craft crit multiplier until you hit maybe life, maybe resist if you need, those kind of beneficial stats. You can also put minimum frenzy charges for even more DPS, or maybe minimum power charges if you think your crit strike is not good enough. So being ignite immune is super important. Another way to do that, because our flasks are almost endless, because we abuse charge when you are hit by an enemy. Gain charge, yeah. So 6 charge, 7 charge, the maximum is 7 charge. If you put ignite immunity on one of your flasks, that can also work. But if you run out of your flask for some reason, maybe you might still die to that ignite. So another solution, this is probably the most expensive one, by the way. Forbidden Flesh and Flame Jewels with the chieftains. What was that? Tasselio Cleansing Water. So this provides lots of fire resistances, which obviously this character needs. Physical damage from hits taken as fire. I believe this attacks with Transcendance, so you can even become more tankier. because yes, we have good armor, but armor doesn't work for physical damage. We actually mitigate physical damage with endurance charges. So that's why I believe the higher the armor is, the better the mitigation for elemental, obviously, and also maybe for physical damage. So this modifier maybe is even better for mitigation, but I am not 100% sure because I cannot know this, you know. I'm not the programmer of this game. So anyways, finally, unaffected by Ignite. You still get Ignite, but it doesn't hurt you. So this is good, but for some reason these jewels are right now 5 exalt each. No idea who plays with these. Maybe someone shoot a video for another build. So yeah. So this is another example. So make sure you are unaffected or immune to Ignite in the end by using one of these solutions. If you know anything better, maybe even cheaper or more effective, you can also do that. But make sure you are immune or unaffected to Ignite in the end, so you can tank all of those shitty one-shot abilities without any problems. So let's just explain rest of the items. This is how the build works. I believe I explained everything. Yeah. So because this is a shield crush build, this means that we got DPS from our shield. I wanted to make a crit build, obviously, for good DPS. Even though this character is so tanky, still has respectable single target DPS, more than 10, even 15 million DPS, if you can also afford a Battle Fate Flask. But in the end, this build is not super expensive, costs less than 50 exalt, which is cheap considering we just passed 1.5 months. Let's say 7 weeks or 6 weeks into the league, I don't remember. So yeah, it is. It's been some time, so most of you probably have the required currency for this build, maybe. So that's why we use a hybrid shield, evasion inner shield. I believe you can craft these with dance fossils, but not really sure because I haven't done any shield craft ever, let's say. That's why I paid for one. That wasn't that expensive. So you want the highest evasion you can afford and also inner shield at the same time. Because we also use Seething Fury, Viridian Jewel. This is a unique jewel, limited to only one. Offhand crit strike chance per inner shield. Offhand crit strike multiplier per something inner shield on the shield. So this way you can get crit strike chance and multiplier at the same time. Plus we use shield crushes divergent quality per 100 inner shield also grants another crit multiplier bonus. Plus we use Ashes of the Star Amulet for some good reservation efficiency and quality of all skill gems. This also obviously increases the quality of shield crush, meaning even more crit multiplier. So that is how to achieve good crit multiplier and crit strike chance. So a good shield with high evasion inner shield, and maybe also resistance, attack speed, whatever you can fit depending on your budget. Plus Seething Fury Jewel. And next, glows. This is good for shield builds. This is a ritual base implicit. 50% attack damage with offhand. So reduce attack damage with main hand doesn't matter. We don't hit with our main hand. Alright, this is a shield build. The good stats, attack speed. You might need accuracy if you are also using Kaom's Way rings. You cannot put accuracy on your rings, obviously. So you must make sure that you get some decent accuracy on your glows. If you still need dexterity, you can also do that. Attack speed, life, resistances, super cheap, easy to craft. If you cannot find any, just buy the base. Use essences. There are, I believe, dexterity essence, life essence, accuracy essence. Essences are so cheap right now. It won't cost you more than 1 exalt to craft or buy these glows. Super cheap. Next, boots. Another place to put endurance charges. So there are lots of endurance charge boots, by the way. I believe there is a unique boots, Death Door. For some reason, if you want that, you can use that. You are also immune to bleed, I believe, with that boots. But I don't know. If bleed wasn't an issue, I don't know. So that boost might not be that good in the end because it also doesn't provide any life as far as I know. I will put the picture on the screen, obviously, but I don't see the boots right now. So that's why, yeah. I remember it doesn't have any life, I believe. Other options, another synthesize implicit maximum endurance charges. This is what I got because no one uses these boots. This was like 1 exalt with the crafted with this state, let's say someone crafted this and put it for 1 exalt, probably tried a build or something. So I just wanted life, move speed, maybe regeneration. Oh, this was nice, you know, just to stack life. This doesn't provide much resistances. So if you want to craft your own boots, maybe use again essences. There are lots of resistance essences, craft it until you get, life, resist, movement speed. Those are your stats. You don't need any DPS or something on the boots. There are also, I believe, Warlord Influence for maximum endurance charge. You can also maybe use Awakener Orb to combine it with maybe Tailwind or something like that. So that is probably a more expensive boot. That's it about the boot. So make sure you get +1 endurance charges in the end. There are like 3 different ways to get that. For the enchant, I did a couple of labyrinths, got movement speed if you haven't been hit recently, I believe. But that is not that good for this build. You actually need the best enchant is probably regeneration life if you have got hit recently, something like that, for even more regeneration. If you bother doing labyrinth, that is probably your best choice for enchant. Final item, belt. I just wanted to stack more life and resistances, so I picked a hunter base. Stygian vise for the socket, obviously that is the best thing you can get. You can also get elder belts, it doesn't matter because they both have hunter and elder. Increased percentage maximum life, plus flat life, plus resistances. That's it. If you want more DPS, you can, I believe, use, I will just put it in path of building right now to just check, a Ricelata coil, but let me just check it. Yes, it works. I will just also show that. So Ricelata coil belt for some good DPS. If you are fine with resistances, this is also something that you should consider using. So because this character has endurance charges all the time, you must make sure that you press your endurance cry to refresh that. So let's just talk about maybe how to play the build so you don't die, make any mistakes. So first of all, you don't need to put lots of resistances on your items, because you are gonna have permanent endurance charges and enduring cry effect. So what does that mean if you are not familiar? If you use enduring cry, you will notice that you actually get a buff for a couple of seconds on you, which actually provides additional physical damage reduction and all elemental resistances per endurance charge. This is separate from the normal endurance charges bonuses. So you must make sure that this is permanent. That is why you need to invest into duration and Warcry cooldown recovery. So Endurance Cry is actually attached to increased duration, so that actually works. And also Molten Shell and Blood Rage, so they also got duration tag, so that is a good 4-link setup on your gloves, in your gloves, maybe boots, it doesn't matter where you put them, alright? This is in my gloves right now. We also get some Warcry cooldown recovery on the talent tree. Just follow the talent tree, you cannot make any mistakes. So this way we actually have enough cooldown on our Endurance Cry, which is actually shorter than the duration of the buff. So you must just make sure that you press Endurance Cry whenever it is up. Do not wait for anything. That is something that you need to press every 4.5 seconds, I believe. That is the cooldown right now, something like that. And the buffs last like 5 seconds, I believe. I will just also find it in Path of Building. Yeah, skill duration 5.1 seconds. So that is the Endurance Cry's buff. Skill cooldown 4.5 seconds. So you have 0.6 seconds to press it. If you fail to press it in that window, you actually lose the buff. So if you actually kept your resistances with that buff, you might lose your resistances, a little bit of your resistances. So make sure that maybe you overcap your resistances. If you are like, if you think that you are gonna forget to press it every 5 seconds, maybe you are gonna press it every 7 or 8 seconds if you are lazy, I don't know. Make sure you overcap your resistances. I believe I actually kept my resistances with the buff because I always tried to press it. That is how I played. So if I, fail to press it in that 0.6 seconds, I'm actually playing with 60 something resistances. Which won't kill you probably because the build is super tank against hits. But maybe some degeneration effects might be problematic in that less than a blink of an eye maybe. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So make sure that you press Endurance Cry, get the cooldown recovery notables on the talent tree, don't forget that. Other than that, so Molten Shell, this build has lots of armor, so Molten Shell is gonna be at maximum value, which is 10,000 absorption. So if you want to, tank Maven's explosion, Atziri double flame blast, so those kind of guaranteed one shots. Maybe Sirus something, I don't know. Sirus Meteor, yeah, that's it. Make sure you also press that Molten Shell. That is on my skill bar. It isn't attached to cast when damage taken. Maybe you can also do cast when damage taken setup. but that won't be wise to do if you want to tank those kind of one-shot abilities. Because I believe without Molten Shell you cannot tank double Flame Blast, but not sure right now. You need to try and test it yourself. I actually forgot if you can tank it or not without the Molten Shell. So make sure you press Molten Shell for those kind of ridiculously powerful one-shot abilities. So press that for that extra absorption. This is obviously a melee build, so we also use some totems for DPS. So make sure you put those while fighting a boss. And that's pretty much it about the playstyle, about everything. I'm not gonna show you the talent tree, it is a waste of time. I want to keep this video short and clean as possible. That's it. One thing about the talent tree, maybe I use 2 large and only 1 medium cluster. Medium cluster is super cheap, but large ones are not expensive, but there aren't much results because that is a unique combination that I found to skip some points. So because of that, you feel free to use another large cluster. There are physical clusters, Master the Fundamental, you know, I don't know, Iron Breaker, Force Multiplier, those kind of usual stuff. There are hundreds of results. You can use one of those if you want. I'm gonna put alternative versions in the path of building as usual. So if you cannot find the clusters that I'm using, go and buy those. Alright, don't try to buy the same thing if it becomes expensive. If lots of people decide to play this build, they're gonna be expensive. Alright, that's why you use the other versions. That's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. If you have any other build ideas, make sure you comment in my Discord, not on YouTube. I'm not gonna check every comment. Come to my Discord, chat with me. If you want to support the channel, you can become a Patreon member. So yeah, also check that if you are feeling generous. Thanks for watching. I will see you later. Bye bye.